Welcome back, dear learners, to the second part of our lecture on what makes rural marketing attractive and problems related to rural marketing in India. In the previous session of this video lecture, we have examined how companies successfully tapped into India's rural potential. We will now explore the flip side, that is, the challenges companies have encountered when engaging with rural consumers. We will go through the detailed case studies of Hindustan Unilever, Coca-Cola India and Godrej's Chotu Cool initiative to understand what went wrong, how companies responded, and what we can learn from their experiences. Let's begin by understanding some core problems company often faces in rural marketing. While rural markets offer immense potential, they also present significant challenges. Businesses often encounter unique hurdles from distribution complexities to consumer behavior habit, infrastructural gaps, and cultural mismatches. We will now explore these problems through case studies examining how different firms tackled these challenges. Our focus will be on specific barriers faced, the market's response, and the strategies adopted leading to failures or turnarounds and the lessons learned. Discussing on our first case study, Hindustan Unilever's battling low cost competition. Our first case study on challenges involves Hindustan Unilever's Limited, India's largest FMCG company. By the late 1990s, HUL realized that future growth would come from rural areas. Their objective was to reach the bottom of the pyramid consumers with basic products. The wake-up call came from Nirma, a local upstart whose low-priced detergent was rapidly winning over rural consumers, which is directly challenging HUL's premium brand, that is Surf. Talking about the challenges faced by HUL's Surf was expensive and distributed mainly in towns. Rural consumers with modest income found it unaffordable and inaccessible. Nirma launched its detergent at a fraction of Surf's price, quickly capturing over 30% of detergent market by the year 2000, much of it from rural areas. This exposed several problems for HUL. The first problem is distribution gap. Nirma built a vast network penetrating even in smallest villages, while HUL's urban-centric distribution left many villages unserved. The second is pricing and income constraints. Rural consumers are highly price sensitive with irregular purchasing power. Surf was a luxury, while Nirma's dirt cheap offering hit the sweet spot. Third is consumer habits and awareness. Rural buyers had limited exposure to brand products, relying on traditional alternatives. Creating brand awareness in media dark regions with low literacy was difficult. Discussing on market response and consequences for HUL's initial approach of simply pushing urban products into rural markets backfired. Rural consumers either stuck to cheaper local options or held with Nirma's value propositions. Nirma's rise highlighted a challenge on HUL, leading to flat growth and eroding market share. It became clear that HUL's one size fit all strategy was failing in rural India, and without a new game plan, they risked losing enormous rural opportunity to competitors more in tune with rural needs. Talking about the HUL's strategic response in terms of adoption and innovation, HUL's response to this was a bold, comprehensive turnaround strategy. The key initiative included: first, product re-engineering in terms of affordable value brands. In 1988, HUL launched Wheel, a low-price detergent directly targeting Nirma's customer base. They also introduced smaller packs size like shampoo and toothpaste sachet, allowing rural shoppers to buy in tiny quantities, addressing cash flow issues. Second is distribution expansion, which aimed to get into the last mile. HUL invested in innovative channels like Project Shakti, which was launched in the year 2001. This partnered with rural women micro entrepreneurs who became direct to home distributors, considerably extending HUL's reach into remote villages. And third, rural focused promotion and education. HUL used unconventional tactics like village fairs, mobile audiovisual vans, and local theatre troupes to communicate into local language. They integrated educational messages about hygiene, building goodwill, and finally promoting their products. Talking about the outcomes for HUL, HUL's rural reboot paid off impressively. By the mid 2000s, rural India contributed a massive 50% of HUL's annual sales up from 30% in early 1990s. Wheel reclaimed market leadership and Project Shakti grew to over 1,20,000 women entrepreneurs, doubling HUL's rural coverage to half of India's villages. Demand for HUL's FMCG products in villages grew 20 to 25% annually in the early 2000s, outpacing urban growth. This initiative not only leads to commercial success but also created social benefits with Shakti entrepreneurs earning supplemental incomes. HUL's experience showed that enhancing local communities, built local customer base, and committed sales force. So, what are the key lessons learned? HUL's turnaround offers several key lessons. First is, don't underestimate local competitors. Be willing to fight from below by rethinking price value equation for the rural market. Second is to innovate in distribution and go deep. Create new channels and decentralize the supply chain to ensure product availability in far-flung areas. Third is adopt communication to rural realities. Use interpersonal communication, local language content, demonstrations, and culturally relevant messaging. And fourth is to empower and educate the consumers. Tie marketing to social development to build goodwill and brand preferences through long-term engagement. Our second case study is Coca-Cola India, that is cracking the Thanda code. Our second case study on problem faced is Coca-Cola India. In early 2000s, urban sales were flat and rural India remained largely untapped. Coca-Cola aimed to make its cola the preferred refreshment or Thanda for India's villagers. The objective was to achieve a kind of rural reach. Further discussing on the challenges faced by Coca-Cola India, selling soft drinks in rural India presented unique challenges. The first challenge is infrastructure and distribution. Lack of electricity and refrigeration in villages meant most grocers did not stock cold drink. Traditional supply chains were ill suited to remote locations with poor roads. Second factor is cultural preferences or acceptability. Villagers relied on local drinks like lemonade or buttermilk, which were familiar, cheap, and perceived as healthier. Thanda usually meant these traditional drinks, not the bottled soda. Third is price and income sensitivity. Rural incomes were low and seasonal, as rupees 10 coke was a significant expense from a farm laborer point of view, making it a luxury rather than everyday purchase. Moving ahead to discuss on the market response and initial consequences, Coca-Cola's initial attempt met indifferent results. By 2001, rural penetration was only 9%. Flat urban sales and negligible rural uptake lead to stagnation. It became evident that cracking the rural market required radical changes. Without making availability, affordability, and acceptability, which is the three A's, a reality, rural consumers would continue to ignore their products. The latent competition was not other colas but traditional, cheaper, and culturally preferred alternatives like Nimbu Pani. Discussing the strategic responses in the form of 3A strategies, Coca-Cola crafted a comprehensive rural marketing strategy around the 3A's, that is, availability, affordability, and acceptability. The first one is availability with deep distribution and innovative cooling technique. They fixed the distribution, appointing more than small distributors closer to villages using auto rickshaws and bullock carts. A groundbreaking innovation was the solar powered e-cool cooler provided free to select rural retailers, enabling chilled drinks even without grid electricity. The second is affordability in terms of right pricing and packaging. In 2002, they launched the 200 ml returnable glass bottle priced just at rupees 5, which was nicknamed as Chota Coke or the Small Coke. This broke the price barrier, making Coke an impulse purchase. Third is acceptability, which is in terms of localized marketing and cultural connect. The iconic Thanda Matlab Coca-Cola advertising campaign featuring Bollywood star Amir Khan playing a rural character equated the informal term Thanda with Coca-Cola. This humorous, relatable ad helped rural consumers connect with the brand. Now, coming on to the discussion on the outcomes for Coca-Cola India, Coca-Cola's rural strategies yielded impressive results. By 2003, rural penetration nearly tripled to 25%, contributing 30 to 35% sales volume. The phrase "Thanda matlab Coca-Cola" became deep rooted. The company reported double digit growth in rural sales and urban sales slowed, adding tens of thousands of new rural outlets. By 2018, India was on track to become Coke's fifth largest global market, largely driven by rural demand. This success demonstrated that within the right approach, rural consumers hold new products, shattering the myth that rural India is brand averse. So, what are the key lessons learned? Coca-Cola's India's rural expedition provided valuable insights. First, adopt a 3A's mindset. Ensure availability through creative distribution, tackle affordability with right pricing and packaging, and drive acceptability through cultural resonance and local language. Second, innovate to overcome infrastructural gaps. Devise off-grid solutions like solar coolers to serve rural customers, which can become competitive advantage. Third, leverage local culture and heroes. Use relatable cultural content and popular local figures to connect with rural psychology. And fourth, monitor and manage trust continuously. Rural consumers are skeptical of outsiders. Invest in CSR and transparency and proactively address community concern to build and maintain trust. Our final case study on problems is Godrej Chotu Cool. In the 2010s, roughly 80% of rural households lacked refrigerators due to high costs, electricity issue, and small living spaces. Godrej and Boise aimed to create a refrigerator for the masses, an ultra affordable portable cooling solutions named as Chotu Cool, meaning little cool. Their objective was to transform rural lives by preserving food at low cost, thereby unlocking a huge new market. Talking about the Chotu Cool innovation and challenges faced, Chotu Cool was a 45-liter cool box using thermoelectric cooling running on a 12-volt rechargeable battery priced around 3500 to 3800. It opened from the top to retain cold air and could keep food at about 8 degrees centigrade. Godrej partnered with India Post for remote village delivery. While called as a frugal innovation, Godrej faced significant challenges. The first challenge is perceived need versus actual habit. Rural people used earthen pots or broth daily, so fridge was not an obvious necessity. Skepticism about reliability and total cost of ownership was high due to power cuts. The second is cultural and aspirational factors. Chotu Cool's no frill appearance and low cost positioning risked making adopters feel low status. Owning a real fridge was a status symbol, so many preferred to save or buy a second hand rather than invest in a product perceived as poor man's fridge. Third is distribution and service challenges. Selling outside regular dealer network means problematic after sale services. Rural customers worried about repairs and transportation costs to towns. Now discussing on the market response and consequences for Chotu Cool. In the first 2 years, Godrej sold only about 15,000 Chotu Cool units, which is low penetration for a target of 114 million rural households. Demand plateaued quickly, leading to commercial loss. The company had to quietly scale back its rural ambition and pivot its strategy by 2014-15. They repositioned Chotu Cool as lifestyle gadget for niche urban segment targeting a mid-level buyer, mostly for picnics, cars and small apartment and for small shops. This shift was an admission that the rural poor market had not materialized as viable business for this product. The Chotu Cool, like the Nano car, become a cautionary example that affordability alone does not guarantee adoption when aspirational and cultural factors are at play. So, what are the key lessons learned? The Chotu Cool case offered numerous lessons. The first is to understand that the consumer's job to be done. Don't assume a need, deeply understand the existing habits and alternatives. Rural household had workarounds that addresses their needs reasonably well. The second is understanding that affordability is not equals to desirability. Emotional and social benefits are important. Product should fulfill aspirations, not unintentionally stigmatize the users. Frugal innovation fail when they don't make affordable aspirational. Third is pilot results that can mislead if scales factors are not considered. Initial enthusiasm may not translate into mass adoption. Rigorously identified why a product might fail at scale, including services issue and social dynamics. And fourth, be ready to pivot or preserve. Honestly assess performance and gather on ground feedback. Be willing to modify the product strategy or target market to salvage the innovation. Now talking about the final summary and conclusion. In conclusion, India's rural market offer immense potential due to their vast population, rising income and increasing aspiration. However, successfully engaging these markets require more than just scaling urban strategies. As we have seen from the cases of Selco, DHeart and Reliance Jio, success pivot on deep understanding of rural needs, innovative distribution, localized offerings, building trust and patience, long-term engagement. Companies must embrace the 3 A's, that is availability, affordability and acceptability, while also overcoming infrastructural limitations and cultural complications. The experiences of HUL and Coca-Cola highlight the importance of adopting product and communication strategies to the rural realities. While the Godrej Chotu Cool case serves as a cautionary tale, affordability alone isn't enough. Product must also align with aspiration and existing consumer habits. Ultimately, rural marketing demands a holistic, empathetic, and adaptable approach to create sustainable value for both businesses and the communities they serve. So, with this, we have come to the end of this video lecture. So, until next time, I wish you happy learning. Thank you very much.